Unturned is presented by UpdateAI.
What's the number one question that's come up from folks?
You know what? Surprisingly, the number one question is, when can I learn more about the other company?
Oh, really? Nobody's asking questions about job security?
I mean, sure. That was secondary to, when do I get to learn more about so-and-so's product? Like, the curiosity quotient is so impressive. It was,
Well, Kristi, you don't ask the CCO about job security. Like,
Who are
that's
they
like
asking?
the one-on-one with your manager. Like, that's the question that they all really want to ask.
No, but she's talking about her direct reports. So also, like, I'm just saying, it doesn't need to be like, I'm not talking about like this customer success associate who's been on the job for 2 weeks. She's got direct reports too. They might be asking, is there redundancy? Is there a concern that I might have about my job security? I don't know. Yes, I am an avid learner. I want to learn all the products. I want to know, am I going to have a job tomorrow first? I'm just saying that's me. So.
Hello, everybody. I'm Josh Schachter, the co-host with the most, and I'm here with Johnny and Bonnye. My other, you like that, John?
That was terrible.
I know. Well, it's not as bad as co-host with the most. So Jon Johnson, my co-host, and Bonnye Hart, the Chief Customer Officer at, where do you work, Bonnye? Because it's changed.
Well, things have changed since you and I talked, Josh. It's now Opexus plus Casepoint. We had a big event. You also had a big life event since we spoke.
I did. I got engaged. Yes.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the hair transplant.
Yeah, I got a hair transplant. So as soon as these puppies grow, no more caps on this podcast for me. So is the plus part of the name, or is that
it is for now? It is for now. So this is hot off the press as of a matter of days ago.
Wow.
We merged with Opexus merged with Casepoint, and both two incredible organizations and two incredibly powerful technologies coming together under Thoma Bravo's investment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Midas touch there for those guys. That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, time out.
Kristi!
Here she is.
Hi.
Hi, friend. Good to see you.
It's so good to see you. I'm sorry, guys. I was in an escalation meeting. So.
Oh, tell us more.
Wouldn't know anything about that.
What do you want to know?
I want to know all about the escalation meeting.
It fucking sucks.
Well, we're recording live right now.
We're recording this live.
Of course it is. Thank you.
No, but Kristi, this is so great.
Sabotage.
I'm going to say something because
Best
Bonnye
intro
just shared
ever.
Something. Kristi, Bonnie's company just merged with another company under the Thoma Bravo banner. Isn't that interesting?
I see why am I.
Is there anybody else on this
why
podcast that has gone through that experience before with Thoma Bravo?
Do you want to talk about it?
You probably shouldn't.
Probably not.
Everybody's left in the dark except for you two.
I know. Bonnye, I work at UserTesting, and about 6 months ago, we were acquired and merged under the Thoma Bravo banner. So I actually am coming out the other end of what you're about to experience. I'm actually really excited to hear what that looks like for you guys and how that's kind of transforming the organization that you have.
Yeah, super exciting for us. Like I said, this is really fresh. We just announced a matter of days ago, merged the teams together. We're still really exploring all of the aspects across people, process.
Wait, time out. You announced this a couple of days ago, and you've merged the teams together. I call bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you're good, Bonnye, but you're not that good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Josh, as soon as we got the words from Thoma Bravo, it was like, this is user Zoom, we're user testing, you have a Slack channel.
Really?
And it was great. Like, I assume like the communication is very much like, this is happening, get ready for fill in the blank. And then you just kind of build the plane in the air.
So we are recording this February 6th, 2025. There will be a couple week delay. Our podcast producer is going on some family excursions for a few weeks. So this in a few weeks from now, it's going to be, if you've already merged, then I don't even want to know what's going to happen as far as your synergies.
Thoma Bravo is going to buy like 10 more companies.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a unicorn. Like that's
right.
And Bonnye, you're going to be on top of it all.
Okay.
That's right.
So where are you now in your cycle of I was going to say like your grief cycle, but like where are you right now in like in your emotional cycle? Like where is everybody now in this process?
She's so excited. Look, there's a smile on her face.
Excited.
She's
super
happy
excited.
as a clam.
I'm not going to make that assumption. Okay.
Yeah, you can assume Kristi knows me well enough. So actually, when Kristi and I met about a decade ago, actually a little over a decade ago, I was at a company called Gov Delivery, Delivery, that was purchased by Vista Private Equity.
Oh, yeah.
And merged with Granicus, a similar company. So here we are, where Kristi and I used to joke that there used to be more pizzas than people at our customer success meetups. Here we are.
Wait a second. That's the John Gleason CS meetup joke. You stole the John
everyone
Gleason.
Everyone has that same joke.
Yeah, that's Punan's, right? Junan's.
Well, they so she's using it as an analogy. John sadly was an experience. So
oh, that's true. That's true. Okay.
But Bonnye and I met when the CS New York community was like 10 people.
That's right.
Wow.
Right. We had one little tiny happy hour of some really great women and have been in touch ever since. And then flash forward, through a lot of great experiences. Now here I am in a very similar position with great private equity investors doing the exact same thing, merging two companies together. So it's super fun.
Wow. Okay. So do you already have the playbook like written for you? Like what's the process? How many days in are you and what's the process looked like? Like I want the day by day on this thing. This is exciting.
Yeah. We are a weekend officially today.
Okay.
So all the announcements and, celebrations and conversations went live last week. All of the teams were meeting and introducing people. We are getting to know, what do you do over there? Here's how we do it over here, right? We say this, you say that, right? It's really fun. Everyone's got great energy getting to know each other from a, customer perspective, from people, processes, all of those things. So it's still really fresh and exciting. And folks have a ton of curiosity about where they can plug in on their respective counterparts.
A question for you, because one of the things that I really enjoyed about even just like the merging of these two companies.
Yeah.
So Thoma Bravo had acquired our main competitor, I think like a year before the merge. They brought us in, and then it's been we just released like our combined platform and all that kind of stuff, and it's been a lot of really fun stuff.
Yeah.
But like the counterparts, like on paper, you're like, oh, CSM. Then like you talk about what you do, and our engagement models were so drastically different. And I know that's not necessarily like the way that folks look at ledgers when they're combining companies. But I'd love to hear kind of how you're thinking about looking at like engagement styles and engagement models. Is there a good overlap between the customer bases of the two companies, or are you finding some gaps in there?
Hey, John, can I interrupt?
Josh?
Yes,
No.
please. Because I did I did a Jon Johnson. I kind of flubbed the initial intro of Bonnye. Bonnye, like, what do you do? What does Opexus do? And
42 minutes
do?
into the
right.
The
like, can you before you tell us about like the engagement models and stuff like that, like, tell us a little bit about what the companies do.
Set the stage.
Yeah.
This is what we get for scheduling 4:45 on a Thursday.
Yes.
I know. It's Thirsty Thursday. It's probably happy hour in a few minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Bonnye Hart. I'm Chief Customer Officer of Opexus plus Casepoint. And the plus is new since I last spoke to you because we were just merged together under Thoma Bravo from an investment perspective. So my job then and now is to make sure that we're delivering the best service possible across all of the post-sales experience. So that encompasses everything from implementation, onboarding, training, customer success, which is important to you and your audiences, through to ongoing reoccurring services that you would see in a typical SaaS organization. So that's what I'm responsible for, and that's what I have the privilege of working with my teams to do.
What do the companies do?
Yeah, great question. So the companies are, kind of Wonder Twin powers activating together. We, from the legacy Opexus side, we specialize in case management software for the government. So if you've heard of a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request, which is hot in the news right now, that is where our software comes in. Our software processes the majority of FOIA requests that go to the federal government.
I love that. I love that so much, by the way. It's like do the most unsexy thing in the world that has government compliance and forces people to go through this painstaking process and just profiteer off of it.
Josh, if you think that's the most unsexy software or thing out there, then you haven't had enough conversations. There is far worse.
There are.
Go deep in manufacturing.
Yeah, that's true. Kristi's not wrong. Hey, as unsexy as it may be to some people, it is critical, must have day-to-day systems for a huge majority of the federal workforce and state and local government workforce as well. And so if you combine the legacy capability of Opexus and the legacy capability of Casepoint, you get this highly modernized end-to-end solution of case management plus data that can be activated. So any type of data that can be activated, which is a huge problem that a lot of our government customers have. Casepoint also brings a commercial side of the business, which is pretty refreshing, right? I haven't worked in a commercial customer space in a really long time. So that's pretty exciting to be able to really figure out where we have a ton of synergies and where we can optimize the process and get happy customers from the government to business.
Okay. Thank you for sending that message. How many people in the companies and in your orgs respectively?
Yeah, so combined, we're about over 700 now. The org comes together and brings a tremendous amount of capability, not only in the U.S., but a huge presence in India as well. We service customers from all across the U.S. and into Canada as well. So we've got an international presence.
And how many people in your org? Post-sales?
Right now,
you got to do the math on who came over. And you got.
I feel like Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover, right? Of like all the numbers running through my head. Carry the one.
There are a number of people in your org.
There's a lot. Yeah,
okay,
almost probably 170.
Bonnye,
Awesome.
So listen, you've already done this before. You did this with Vista. What's your playbook? So like you're a leader in these orgs going through this. Like what's the first 3 things you have to do or that you're responsible for now? That like people as you're going through this?
Yeah, great question, Kristi. So people first, right? Really focus on making sure that number one, your leaders, the folks that report to you, are completely in the know and have full transparency so that they can guide their teams. Change management is tough, right? I don't care who you are. Navigating change is different for everybody, and it hits people. Because all people are so different, right? And it hits people differently, right? Teams might be fine one day and be like, what the heck just happened, right? The next day. So focusing on people and transparent communications first and foremost. So we've had a total open dialogue. We've had a ton of meet and greets and just let people ask questions or get their feelings out and really focus on that. We're now shifting to...
What's the number one question that's come up from folks?
You know what? Surprisingly, the number one question is, when can I learn more about the other company?
Oh, really? Nobody's asking questions about job security?
I mean, sure. That was secondary to, when do I get to learn more about so-and-so's product? Like, the curiosity quotient is so impressive. It was, yeah.
Kristi, you don't ask the CCO about job security. Like
Who are
that's
they
like
asking?
the one-on-one with your manager. Like that's the question that they all really want to ask.
But she's talking about her direct reports. So also like, I'm just saying it doesn't need to be like, I'm not talking about like this customer success associate who's been on the job for 2 weeks. She's got direct reports too. They might be asking, is there redundancy? Is there a concern that I might have about my job security? I don't know. Yes, I am an avid learner. I want to learn all the products. I want to know, am I going to have a job tomorrow first? I'm just saying that's me. So.
Yeah.
Josh.
John, you had a really good question. I don't know if we're going to get to it, but we should. It was a really good one.
I also have like object impermanence, and I don't remember what the hell I said 16 minutes ago. So let me see if I can figure it out.
Hey, everybody, it's Josh. I'm taking a quick break from the podcast to tell you a bit about UpdateAI. I started UpdateAI to solve 2 major challenges for CS teams. The first is that we save CSMs 4 to 5 hours per week with our productivity through AI. Secondly, we give leaders a window into all the conversations across each account and the entire portfolio. So we help knowledge transfer, we help increase the coverage model of your CS teams, and we help you detect emerging patterns in what your customers are telling your CSMs. across all the risks, product feedback, advocacy moments, and expansion opportunities. So come check us out at www.UpdateAI. It's completely free to sign up and trial.
How are you thinking about the engagement models? And I guess the big question, it's a weekend, so you probably aren't, but walk me through kind of the thoughts of all of these big ships that you're kind of merging together, right? So you've done this before, Vista. Obviously, it's similar when it comes to PE firms. They want fiscal responsibility, right? So how do you blend that high touch engagement model with customer success to what PE firms kind of tend to do, which is spend a little bit more time on digital, spend a little bit more time on the reduction and less on the beer pong or pool tables.
Well, I'll say that we have a ton of autonomy. So Kristi, you mentioned playbooks, right? There's not some prescriptive thing that anyone has handed to me and said, here's what you must do, right? The reason why they invested in us is because we're proven from the Opexus side and from the Casepoint side. And so they trust us to really run our businesses and optimize our businesses, right? And the combined businesses especially. But one of the things that has been really clear, John, is that we both have an extremely fierce customer-centric similarity, right?
Yeah.
The Casepoint folks and the Opexus folks put the customer first. It doesn't mean that we let that supersede, smart business decisions.
Right.
It means that we are always communicating, much like internally, being transparent, being highly communicative, and talking to folks internally. We have the same operating guidance and principles with our customers, right? In terms of what the change means to them, what the merger means, what they can expect. And really the answer is we're going to take the best of both models. So the combined teams have a lot to learn from each other. One of the teams was much more instrumented along the way in terms of, having metrics that we're tracking and having, very clear customer segmentation and portfolios and risk mitigation strategies, right? The other side of the business was not as instrumented, but has a lot that we can learn in terms of engagement model, in terms of, customer satisfaction, and in terms of interlock with sales. So we're going to take the best of both of those worlds. And right now, it's just a matter of getting ourselves in a room, probably with a bunch of snacks and tacos. We have Taco Tuesday every Tuesday, breakfast tacos. We get in the room with tacos and we talk it out.
Talk it out over taco it out. Taco.
See what I did there? See what? Yeah,
exactly. There's some sort of marketing thing.
We're gonna talk about it.
There we go, Kristi.
Kristi's nailed it. Yeah.
Because Kristi has been to a lot of Taco Tuesdays.
Have I? I'm so hungry.
No?
It's dinner time.
I am hungry.
No.
I'm hungry for learning, Bonnye.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, got big plans.
I love that, and I know a lot of the questions are gonna be more like hypothetical, right? But coming out of what you did before, what is one thing that, aside from customer centricity, like, is there something that it's really important that you carry over into the new teams that you want that is quintessential to who you are and your leadership style that you're feeling the energy around and wanting to implement? Yeah,
absolutely. I say this to anyone who has the professional metabolism to go through a process like this, right? It's not for everybody. And a lot of people opt out, right? A lot of people say, I want to stay in a small company. I want to be scrappier, right? I don't want to be so formulaic or instrumented or sophisticated, right? And that's absolutely fine. And we should honor, anyone who wants to do that. But if you're up for it, it's an on-the-job MBA. And it will absolutely change your career trajectory, right? So if, that's my biggest guidance is that if it's for you, then, buckle up and learn as much as you can because it is absolutely career advancing.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that this last year has really taught me. Sure, I've had a bunch of great stuff with customers and a bunch of stuff with internal programs, but every couple of weeks we get a new initiative, we get a new drive. And in the past that's felt chaotic and uninformed or not communicated well, but coming at it from saying this is going to be rough and ready, you have to figure out our new CEO is just going to pop in. You're like, oh shit, I didn't prepare anything. You got to think on your feet. You got to be prepared to say, I'm going to defend this, not for any other reason other than you're asking this question or we're asking this question on purpose. So I like the way that you said that. What is it? An not an appetite. Something for, you said something that was great.
Professional metabolism. That's TM Bonnye Hart.
Professional metabolism goes hand in hand with Taco Tuesday, obviously.
Exactly.
Bonnye,
and I'll say, you, John, like best practices wise. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
No, it's okay. There's a delay. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Important.
Yeah, it wasn't important. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So how many new reports do you have now underneath you? Probably like 100 or 75 or so?
Not that many, not quite that many, but a lot, right?
Okay,
and it's going to take a while for everybody to get to know each other. Yeah.
Sure. Fine. What do you, I want to actually showcase you to this new organization that doesn't know about one of their new executive leaders. So tell us about yourself.
Yeah. I said this in the intro calls with all the different teams and departments this week. I am an open book. I love to talk. I have a very direct communication style. So I kind of give people that understanding. I'm from Austin, Texas, and so I call myself a texpat, but I've actually been gone longer than I lived there. So that's getting harder and harder to, kind of stake my claim on. And I sound like a newscaster now, right? I don't even have a Texas accent anymore. So it's terrible.
You actually do. I'm hearing it. I'm like, no, yeah, like now. And, next
my y'alls give it away, right? And I have a wonderful family, husband of 16 years, and I have twin 9-year-olds, one boy, one girl. And we just enjoy a ton of time together, and we are big glampers. So if you ask me what my weekend plans are, it's typically going glamping at a Harvest Host location in our camper.
Wow. Me too. No? Okay. I mean, I was going to ask about like philosophy around CS and stuff like that, but maybe that's just too broad. And Kristi, you could ask the interesting version of that question.
Yeah, why don't we let Kristi talk a little bit, Josh?
Josh wants to know about your philosophy around customer success, Bonnye.
Well, I actually want you to polish that question, Kristi, so that it's a good question. I want to ask Josh's an uncut question. Diamond right there, and I want you to polish it and then feed it to Bonnye.
I'm not here to do your dirty work, Josh. So Bonnye, Josh wants to know about your customer success philosophy.
That's a great question, Kristi. I'm really excited to hear the answer.
You know what, Kristi? I agree with John. That is a really great question.
Right? Can we just talk about how good the question is for the next 20 minutes?
Absolutely.
Josh nails it every time. His questions are
hardballs. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about hosting your own podcast?
No, I could never.
She's not much of a self-promoter.
I'm not like Josh with these like quick on his toes questions to ask these guests. Philosophy.
All right, real questions.
All right, Bonnye, though, really, what's your approach to customer success as you think about it?
Yeah,
it's simple. How are you strategizing around this? Yeah,
it's simple. I'm a purist when it comes to customer success, right? I, started in customer success many moons ago, Kristi, as you and I both know, and I believe that customer success is there to be a strategic partner on your entire customer journey. Period. Do you influence sales? Do you partner with sales? Do you work with product? Do you, really investigate the user experience? You do all of those things and all of those facets. But at the end of the day, I'm a purist of customer success in terms of being a strategic partner and helping get business goals achieved.
Will your organization own revenue?
We do not at this point. We influence. So we have customer services qualified leads. So my entire division can submit a lead because leads do not just come out of a strategic review or an executive business review or a conversation or a summit, right? Leads come all over the place. And so my entire division from implementation through to training to services can be a part of the expansion journey.
Okay. So now you're a purist in the sense that you focus on the consultative part of the work that we do. What if the mandate now is that you do own renewals and upsells and cross-sells? Like, what if that did move under your umbrella? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that we would talk about what that looks like and what those touch points look like, and really just be methodical about what trade-offs that means, right? It means that you're not having the other, kind of business partner and strategic planning conversations. that you're having paperwork conversations, right? Which I don't think are as valuable as strategic planning and enhanced experiences. Don't get me wrong; those are extremely critical business motions. I don't believe that's the sole role of a CSM or a CS team.
Yeah, and this kind of gets into that model too. How you're thinking about capacity planning too. Obviously, you don't know what account books are going to look like, and that's all. Yeah. But a lot of this push to kind of do better with what you have or do more with less often tends to come into a consolidation effort where we as a mature organization, we had renewal managers, we had inside sales, we had CSM, we had implementation managers, and now most of those roles are kind of being consolidated between, instead of 4 people, 2 people.
That's right.
And those other people are like doing the same things, right? It's not like there's less work. It's just that there's just more people doing less things, right?
Yeah.
And it's more focused. And I guess it really depends on the fix, right? So we're really focused on like our long-term deals. We're an enterprise solution, so we're spending a lot of time talking with our customers about that. It may be different for you guys when it comes to whatever your leaky bucket is, or whatever your thing is. If it's churn, or if it's or usage, or if it's any of that. Do you have an idea of where you're kind of heading this year for? How do you justify I don't need to own revenue because fill in the blank?
Yeah, we don't have a leaky bucket. We are extremely sticky. We have very long-term contracts, right? We are in a luxurious position that way. Our biggest focus as a customer success entity is really about expanding adoption. We've just started getting instrumentation in our product so that we have a product listening tool to get insights out of. And, our users and our admins are using a fraction of the capabilities in their systems, which means they're getting a fraction of the value. Right. So we need to come in with that instrumentation and say, how do we get you from 10% of, kind of adoption to stepping you towards, 100% of that adoption. So we're in a really good position to be able to do that.
Love that.
And I hate to be a buzz killer, but I have to go.
You gotta go.
My CEO's knocking on my door, so I could let him on the podcast next time.
Ooh.
Bring him in.
We
have
can
him
just
come straight
record
into
your
the podcast.
conversation.
Yeah,
just leave us on in the background.
Yeah. Don't say anything. Just like we won't
it's
talk.
like, by the way, if you get fired on this podcast, then it's gonna
maybe people will listen to it in the future.
Bonnye
we just have
Hart,
a small event going on, so a couple of things to talk about.
Thank you so much for taking time. We know how busy you are. Yes. Thank you for dealing with our shenanigans, and we will stay on for you, Jon. Thank you, Bonnye. Have a great day.
Bye, Bonnye.
See you soon. Kristi, I'll be in New York soon. I'll call you.
Okay,
bye.